Good evening. Labour's promises of tackling illegal immigration officially died today. Do you remember this?
France has now agreed that they will now start to intervene in French waters in order to prevent small boats. That hasn't happened yet, but the previous government spent 6 years trying to persuade them. They have now agreed as a result of the pressure that we've been putting on, the discussions that we have had, and we need that to start.
Oh, no, they haven't, I'm afraid, because today reports suggest that France is backing away from stopping the boats in the water as promised. So that charade is now over. Do you remember this?
We are going to drive down migration, both legal and illegal. That will only be done with a serious plan. The only way to make it work is to smash the gangs that are running the vile trade.
Well, despite that heavy-duty plan of his, yesterday it was confirmed that more illegals have crossed the Channel so far this year than the entirety of last year. We've had about 37,000. And here is the moment that one people on these boats, anyway, just proudly proclaimed the other day that he's coming to London.
Come to London.
Yeah, and now he has, obviously. He'll be here now, so that's great. Now, we can reveal that deportations of small boat migrants are down 7.4% under Sir Keir Starmer. Under this Labour government, everyone who enters Britain illegally is now allowed to claim asylum, and fewer small boat migrants are being deported. That's just a fact. Do you remember this one-in, one-out deal? Yeah, they should start playing that in reverse and have them landing back on British soil, because yesterday it emerged that an Iranian man sent back to France under that scheme has returned to Britain on a small boat. He says that he didn't feel safe in France and claims to be the victim of modern slavery, despite paying human traffickers twice now to come to Britain. I mean, if we cannot deport that man now, then the entire loads in, one out deal is dead. It's finished, it's over, and just to top it off today, Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood said what we all already know, quotes, the Home Office is not fit for purpose. That came after a damning report revealed that instead of deporting people, Home Office staff, and I promise you I'm not joking about this now, OK? Home Office staff host listening circles where they talk about their feelings about social and political issues. Who gives a toss? I mean, it is literally like a scene out of the sitcom The Thick of It.
The apples.
Yes,
and ho.
Free coffins.
Yes, and ho.
Reduce the deficit with spending cuts.
Yes, and ho.
Peter, yeah, I want to hear new ideas ricocheting off your synapses like a pinball, not just a two-year-old slogan, huh?
OK, Dr. Jazz, let's hear it.
We do away with computers.
It's beyond parody. It's beyond parody. So France isn't going to stop the boats. Record numbers have now crossed the Channel. Starmer's deporting fewer Channel migrants than before, and one of the few he has deported has come back and is claiming asylum. And Home Office staff are all sitting around cross-legged on the floor talking about their internalised trauma. Fantastic. Let's get the views of my panel. Political commentator Chloe Dobbs, Tory peer Lord Bailey, and former Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser. Sean, so, I mean, the whole thing's gone pop, hasn't it, really, with this now? And, yeah, I mean, including the Iranian chap who's re-entered Britain twice. He's been to France more than I have this year.
I said before and I said again, too much of our system believes that everybody's telling the truth, believes that everybody's innocent, and then they take the mickey out of us. And if he's already in France and he's come back again, one in, one out shows you it doesn't exist. The smashing of the gangs, the one in, one out, all of these tactics have failed. And Labour are beyond the point where they can keep pointing at the Tories. I'll be the first to admit the Tories didn't do a good job, but Labour now have to own this.
It's been 15 months.
Yeah, exactly. But more importantly, they have no plans. The two plans they have utterly failed. We are heading to potentially a record year. It is now time for something radical to happen.
Yeah, I'm actually not entirely sure we're going to be able to deport this guy, because if he's from Iran, and he is now claiming, as we understand it, that he's the victim of modern slavery, which is what loads of them claim, OK? and that he wasn't safe in France and all this. He can just invent a new threat. I mean, if we can deport him, then we should be deporting everyone else. So I've got a feeling he's going to end up staying in Britain. And if he stays in Britain, that one-in, one-out deal is just finished, isn't it?
Yeah, he's clearly set himself up in the interview he's given to The Guardian for human rights claims. Keir Starmer has, when he was quizzed on whether his one-in, one-out deal is in tatters today, I have to say he looked like he was on the verge of tears, about to cry during that interview.
Oh,
so clearly quite shaken by the failure. But he insisted that this guy is going to be fast-tracked and he's going to be straight back to France. And I'm thinking, hang on a second,
Well,
I'm willing to bet money that there is no way that guy is going to be back anytime soon, because he will put in these human rights claims. And as you say, he's claiming that he's the victim of modern slavery in northern France. That will be if you go to northern France to get on a boat, and what people often do is if they can't afford the boat trip, they will work for the smuggling gangs there. He doesn't have to do that. He can stay in the accommodation in Paris that they had moved him to.
Yes, but this is my other point.
A slave.
That no one seems to be talking about this, which is that how badly we're being mugged off by the French. So we've sent them back, like on Ryanair or something, an illegal Iranian migrant, which is now their...
Air France, I think.
Right, Air France, well, only the best. And they have immediately let this guy go and travel back to northern France and get on a boat, the boats which they are now not going to stop in the water.
Well, look, I mean, obviously it has elements of absolute farce. I mean, the truth of the matter is that we had a small boat problem for 14 years under the Tories, which built, and this government hasn't stopped it. Indeed, as we know, the numbers are going higher. So we have to try something new. What's actually interesting is that the number of illegal migrants entering Europe, entering the EU, has halved in the past year. The problem is that we still have huge pull factors. Those who do get through, because life is being made much harder, and indeed people like the Germans are being much tougher about sending people back. And remember that the German equivalent of the Labour Party is a junior partner in the German coalition, so and is going along with that toughness. So therefore Britain becomes more of a pull factor. Now look, I think there are things like the digital ID card, very controversial with our viewers, I know, probably controversial with my fellow panellists, but we're the only country in Europe which you don't have to show ID to access many services.
Here. People aren't coming here because we don't have ID.
Sean,
that's nonsense.
Sean,
Listen, hold on. If people are coming here...
Sorry, Sean, it was my turn.
Yeah, but if people are coming here illegally, make them register. Don't make us register. That's absolute nonsense.
Sean, every single single expert, including those who want to get tough on migration, think that not having an ID card is a pull factor.
We know if you
Sean,
meant to
can I finish my go? Chill, man. Clearly the pull factors like that need to be stopped. We can't have the Tories bleating about it, but the government is going to have to do more, and what it's probably going to have to do to stop if it wants something like the ability to fast track people back who are taking the you-know-what, but it's going to have to derogate from bits of the CHR.
Or obviously, the other thing is that we could look at why has entry into the EU halved, and it's because they're doing things like turning the boats back.
And they're not putting up people in hotels. They're not making life easy. It's got nothing to do with ID
There are fewer
cards.
people in hotels, Sean. We only have the hotels because your lot, Sean, failed for 14 years. When Labour left government in 2010, there wasn't a single person in a migrant hotel. When you handed us the government, there were record numbers.
All of that you lot failed does not wash.
Yes, it does. You can't get rid of people in 15 months.
It's your
for a problem
go.
that took 14 years, Sean. Can't wipe your hands now.
It's your go, and it's getting worse. Everything you've tried has made it worse. It's too late.
So what did you guys do to stop the hotels? Nothing.
I just want to bring Chloe in here, because the other aspect of this is that the public can rest assured that everybody at the Home Office is doing their utmost to stop this. Apart from the fact that they're not. They're sitting around and playing Kumbaya and crying into each other's arms and talking things about their internalised trauma and how difficult they're finding life instead of deporting people.
I mean, sometimes I hope that I'm going to wake up from this weird dream that I'm living in, because it does feel like it is something out of the thick of it. I mean, that scene of them all sitting around in a circle seems like absolutely a perfect parallel to what's going on. I mean, this is what happens when the state isn't run like a private company. I mean, in the civil service, I mean, if they just started firing people that were incompetent, because if you join the civil servants, you just never get fired.
For life.
Right? Yeah, exactly. If they started firing some people that don't do their jobs properly and didn't go to all these stupid lectures on DEI and sitting around a circle talking about, as you say, maybe their internalised trauma, maybe actually something would get done. Also, I do think that if you're going to be a civil servant in the Home Office, there should be some requirement that you actually believe in deporting people.
I'm amazed that enough people come into the office for them to be able to have their talking.
But what they need to do...
They might do it on...
Absolutely, there might be a Zoom
They need to stop the activism within the civil service. That's the problem. They should not be in the civil service discussing how they feel about politics. They should be doing the exact opposite. What they should be given is cover. If they're asked to do something, it's on their minister, never on them, and they should just do their jobs. The whole idea that they're in there discussing their politics, I think, is a worry, because that leads to activism.
Oh, no, just to stick with you on this, Sean. So the numbers are in now, and there's a 7.4% reduction in the amount of deportations for small boat migrants under Keir Starmer.
Again,
it's going down.
I go back to this idea. It's all very well people saying, you failed, you failed. We know the Tories failed. But what's incredible is Labour made it hard for the Tories to do anything. When they talked about offshore processing, Labour launched, Labour supporters, left-wing supporters launched...
you had a majority.
Launched legal challenges and all sorts to frustrate the government. The Labour Party...
majority in the House of Commons, Sean. And the biggest group in the Lords.
Talked about everything they were going to do. They've done it, and it's completely failed. We need something else.
Sean, you had a massive majority and you didn't do anything.
But let's deal with the here and now. And how do you account for the fact that deportations have gone down by 7.4% under Sir Keir Starmer?
I personally think the government is going to have to go much further. Clearly, that isn't good enough. And I think the only way to do it is to and one of the reasons that the European countries have done it is because they've derogated from some aspects of free movement, as you said, Patrick. And I think the only way to do it is to derogate from some aspects of the ECHR and the migrant convention, because they've got to stop this crisis, and the government hasn't done enough to do it. But frankly, no other party's got an issue apart from the fact the Reform and the Tories want to deport people who we've already said can stay here and are working here, which is daft.
Well, also, Matthew, you pointed out that arrivals into the EU have halved. If that is true, then the
percentage coming here is massive.
The fact that we are nearly on track for a record number this year crossing, or at least on par with 2022 when you have 45 crossing, is astonishing.
Yeah, the percentage coming here is huge, you're right.
Just final word to you on this, Chloe. How concerning is it for the role of Britain on the world stage? You know, obviously, we know we've been royally mugged off over the Chagos deal, all of that stuff. But when you look at what's going on with the French now, I mean, we came over, we could not have rolled the red carpet out any more for little Prince Emmanuel. He came over, you know, got the full state king treatment, and then even told our then Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, we're definitely going to start turning the boats back, we're definitely going to start the boats in the water, and it's just not happening. Today it's emerged they're just not going to do it, despite everything. I mean, how weak does that make us seem on the world stage, do you think?
Oh, incredibly weak, and that can have huge complications, both in trade negotiations and when it comes to negotiating in the case of war, for example, because the message it shows to all leaders around the world is we've got a weak leader who you can completely take for granted, and they will fall for it, and they'll hand you all our money.
Well, there you go. I mean, a collection of quite disastrous illegal migrant stories there, rolled into one neat little package. So, well done, Shabana Mahmood's got a big job on her hands, hasn't she? And it's not the only one, as we're going to be talking about later.